Hey everybody, welcome back to 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. Joining me this month is Christina and Crystal for every single day, and that is the sketch we are working with today. I am going to go ahead and use up some of this pattern paper here. I believe it's called is this the desert one? Desert Rose. It is a Michael's Hot Buy pad that I purchased. And I am going to try to follow this sketch and make it work for me. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, this is not my favorite layout ever. It is in my pile of to think about and see what I can do to add a few more things to make it more me. I have a pile like that where I like the layout. I don't want to stop, I don't want to re-scrap it, but it's still missing something. So I have kind of a separate pile in my scrap room for that, and that is where this one's going. But I do like the idea that I came up with and where it was headed. I just need to figure out what's missing. So I'm starting with the mixed media. I didn't really know how to make the gray area, circle gray area that you see there. So my idea was to use the sunburst to kind of give that effect. And then with my stencils and some modeling paste, I'm going to use rose gold for this. I believe I used the diagonal line right there. I use rose gold for that. And then I am going to use, to do the little arrows, I use a silver. So there's a ton of different colors on this layout, and I really do like the way it looks. I was thinking about doing some messy lines. I didn't know how to do it, so I didn't. However, when I go to do this, I had a lot left over, and you're going to see that I go ahead and do the top, flip it over, and do the bottom because I need the arrows to face the other way. This stencil is so old. It's literally the very first stencil I ever purchased, and it's been loved, let's just say that. It's got a bunch of really neat different shapes I can use and everything, but it's not really flimsy and it's hard to use. But as I did that, I then used what was left on my scraper thing, palette knife, that's what I'm trying to say. And I used that to just kind of spread some on throughout the area. I then grabbed my two photos. These were taken the last week before Barrett was born, and I have been meaning to scrap them with this particular piece of pattern paper for a very, very long time. Back in, I think, January, February, I tried to kill this Paper House Productions pattern paper. So yeah, I'm just now getting to it, almost a whole year later. That's okay though, it's done. I decided though that purple, I didn't need to use the whole thing. I could do it as just a highlight with my photo. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then the idea of gold came into play because I grabbed that piece of 3x4 card where I'm going to place my journaling, and it has gold. So I need to get gold on a couple other places in the layout. I found the word lucky. I felt like that worked really well. I then found a clear sticker from the I Am collection from Simple Stories that literally says I am. So my title is going to say I am lucky. And what that is doing is covering up the words, because there's like a little phrase down at the bottom, and I don't want that. So it covers it up. Yes, if you look closely, you can very much tell that there's a word underneath the word lucky. But really, unless it's you or me who scrapbooks and really notices stuff like that, who's gonna know? I don't even know that you would know if I didn't say something to you. So those words just work perfectly. I'm now going to go ahead and go back to that pattern paper that I used to back my photo and cut a couple of the little chevrons out. I cut out a dark purple and a light purple for both sides. This is a very subtle look. You don't particularly see it in the final image. I mean, I know it's there. You can kind of see it, but it's just not a huge feature. But I did want the pop of purple to be in a couple other places because I brought that in with my shirt and the pattern paper. So I need it to be there. I then found out that one of my lovely children had been in my room and eating something. So my photo had a stain on it of some type of something, and I needed to cover it up. And I found this blue bird, which worked perfectly because this is about Barrett. It means me being pregnant with Barrett. So being blue and representing boy worked perfectly. So I'm just going to go ahead and place that there so that covers up the little stain that's there. I also happened to see that the button had little tiny places where you could, the holes could be, and I just used those to fill up the florals up at the corner so that kind of had the same effect. Now my sunburst got lost because I had done all this mixed media. So I go ahead and do it again. I moved it up so that it's a little bit more prominent when you lay the photos back down. And I went ahead and made sure that I used a wipe to kind of clean up where the sunburst is on the silver mixed media. So you can see me doing that there. So it looks like I did the mixed media after the starburst, which was the whole point. And I really like this. It does give that kind of circular effect that I was looking for. And though you can see the second, like the very first one I did at the moment, when I put all my layers back on, you don't see that. So it is just that single starburst that you see. I do want to back the whole thing. Again, I want to kind of make this purple noticeable. So I'm going to do just the tiniest little bit of a border. It is really small. I normally do like a half an inch all the way, like on both sides, so that it really works and you can see it. This is not even that. It's like a quarter of an inch. It's not very much. So I like that. It brings out that little bit of purple that I'm liking. I then decided it needs a little bit more. Like I just couldn't have it. I also needed a bit of a visual triangle. So I'm going to, as you can see, fold that paper in half. Use part of it to be some more of that chevron paper, and then I'm also going to bring in the floral that you can see in the corner, and from the collection that I'm trying to use, I'm going to use that as my flip over piece. Now, if you're trying to do this and like the back of the pattern paper you're using is either white cardstock like mine is, or a pattern you don't like, it's really, really easy. As long as you have a crisp edge, you just line it up like you were going to do anything, like a corner, and make it a little bit longer than what you expect. Flip it over, trim it, bam, there you go. No one would ever know that wasn't the back of the paper. So really, really easy to make that look happen. And then you take the other part that you want and you just line it up. You cut it long enough so that it butts up with both sides, so you've got the perfect at this case, it's not a 12 by 12. It could be a 12 by 12 if you want it to be, but you have the perfect angle for that. And then to finish it off, I'm just going to add a little bit of a floral and this old baby up at the top so that it had a finishing look. I do a tiny bit of tracing with a black pen, and I pretty much that's it. Like I said, it's not my favorite layout in the whole wide world. It does work though, and it definitely tells the story about my last week being pregnant and the beautiful gift basket I received from my work, which is what that other photo is. The photo of me holding my bump, I was at the doctor's office, so it was like my very last doctor's appointment, and a few splatters here and there, and it's gonna work. So I'm gonna go ahead, like I said, put this in my to think about pile of what I can do to add a little bit more. But if you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear them. And make sure you check out Crystal and Christina's takes for today as well. I'll see everyone tomorrow. Bye.